Hey guys, and welcome back to the OREI's YouTube channel. My name is Roberto Jorge, and today I've got here a HDMI switcher which will solve two common issues that we have with our TVs. Now, usually our TVs only have one or two HDMI inputs, and usually we have our TV provider set-top box, we have a PlayStation, an Xbox, for example, a mini computer, an Android TV box, and even sometimes we want to connect our laptop to show off a presentation or some photos to the family. Now, what we tend to do is disconnect one device and connect the other device to that HDMI cable, which, as you know, is really annoying. So the HDMI switcher will solve that issue and will solve a second issue. The first one is that I will connect all the devices here, so it has up to 4 devices simultaneously, and then I will connect only one single cable to the TV, and that will actually solve the second problem. Now, the first problem is the lack of HDMI ports, but the second problem is even if my TV has 5 HDMI inputs, if I connect 5 devices directly to the TV, I will have 5 HDMI cables going directly to the TV, which is really difficult to manage in most cases. So having only one cable coming out of the OREI HDMI switcher to the TV, I only have to manage one cable through the wall, which is easy to manage. And basically this is how we can solve in a really easy and budget way. Now, that being said, the model is right over here, the link will be down below, so it's really easy to use and to set up. But that being said, let's go and take a closer look on how we can set it up and how we can use it with 4 different devices. The HDMI switcher at the front has all these LEDs, 4 of them, for one of each source, and also a on-off LED. One input at the front, and here at the top we can see a selector button, so we can select here, and we can also select on the remote control, which we will check in just a few moments. Now, if we take a look at the back, we have the other input ports, input 2, input 3, and input 4. In case we want to use a device with ARC, then this is the port that we want to use, input 4 with ARC compatibility. And then on the output, we will be able to output to our TV, which will go up to 4K at 60 Hz. And right over here we have the power input, DC 5 volts, which we will be connecting the power adapter, which is supplied with US, but we can use an adapter for EU, for example, which is where I live, and then we just need to connect it to give power, and that is it. So let's take a look on how it works. And right now, with a setup example with the OREI UHD 401 ARC, and ARC because we can take advantage of the HDMI ARC connectivity at the back if we want to connect to our sound system or sound bar compatible with HDMI ARC. Now, I did connect 4 devices and one output for the TV. In this particular case, it's a display, 4K display, which, by the way, we can put inputs with 4K up to 4K, but if we have a smaller input like a Android TV box that only supports 1080, for example, we will be more than fine because it will accept from 4K below, no worries whatsoever. It's also compatible with HDMI 2.0, HDCP 2.2, video resolution up to 4K, as we have mentioned, at 60 Hz. It has DTS HD, Dolby TrueHD, and a lot more, which I will leave a link down below so that you can check out all the specifications. Now, in terms of functionality, once we connect our 4 inputs and one output to our TV, we are ready to start working with it. Now, we can use this button right over here to cycle through. So at this moment, I'm using source number 2, and my source number 2 is this Chromecast Google TV, and I can just control it with the remote control, so enjoy my series and my movies and so on and so forth. But once I'm done with it, and if I want to change to any other device, I can just click this button right over here. So I'm moving from source number 2 to source number 3. Now, source number 3 is this Android TV box, which is right over there, just as an example, but it could be a PlayStation or an Xbox. If I press it once again, I've got one MacBook Pro, which is out of the frame, but we can check. This is not my MacBook Pro, this is my Windows computer, and I've got the mouse right over here which I can control the computer. Now this is just as an example. As I said, we can use a computer with either Windows or Mac OS, which is the next one. If I press, then we will go to my computer with Mac OS, which is on the other side. Now the computers today are out of the frame. I only have the Chromecast right over there and the Android TV, but if I wanted to check out OREI's website with a lot of great products, as we have seen some of them, I can just browse around and use my computer. But once again, it could be a PlayStation. So this is one of the ways that we have to control using the button right over here. But if you are on your couch, then probably you don't want to get up and then change and so on, and that's where the remote comes into place. It has 4 buttons. Each of this will represent HDMI input 1, 2, 3 or 4. So at this moment we are with number 2, and as we can see by the LED indication right over here, we also have the LED indication for the power on and off. But at this moment we are with number 2. If I want to go directly to number 4, instead of clicking right over here, if I press here, what happens is that it will go directly to number 4. Now let's imagine that I want to use source number 3, and if I use the button, this is one of the disadvantages, of course. If I use the button, I will have to go 4, 1, 2 and then 3. But if I use the remote, I just need to press number 3, and there we go. I'm using source number 3. It will take a couple of seconds depending on the display that we have. And now if I want to go to number 1, for example, there we go, and we are back with the MacBook Pro in a second. There we go. And then if I press right over here on number 4, we will go to our Windows computer. And basically this is the way that it works. Easy as this. So I can just select the source that I want, and if I want to watch a movie on my movie series device or my DVD player or wherever, I can just select and then move around. And if I want to change to my Xbox and enjoy a few games, then we can just with a click of a button enjoy a new device without having a mess of cables around the TV. Now talking about cables, this is right over here so that we can see on the frame, and I've got a few cables. But my suggestion is, if we put this setup on our living room, for example, we can put this under the table, so we only need to bring up one single cable to our TV, and that is it. We can hide it and it will stay below, and we only have one cable going to the TV, so we don't need this mess right over here. But to be able to show a little bit more, and the LEDs and all the connectivity and so on and so forth, right over here we have all this mess, but we can do some cable management and get rid of all of them, and just one single cable through here would be just fine. And basically this is it, easy as this. We just need to connect the device that we want. For example, the PlayStation, instead of connecting directly to the TV, I will connect it right over here, and my set-top box and my DVD player and my Android TV box, and then one single cable coming from the HDMI switcher to the TV, and I can control it either with the button or with the remote control. And in this way I can solve 2 issues in a really easy and fast way. By the way, if you require more HDMI inputs, I will try to leave some links down below with some suggestions to solve in case you have, I don't know, 2 PlayStations or 3 Xboxes and 2 PCs and a lot more devices. So depending on the needs, there will be some suggestions down below as well. That being said, hope that the video was helpful, and if it was, don't forget that usual thumbs up right over there. If you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing it so that you can keep on receiving tips such as this one right over here and others that we publish frequently. My name is Roberto Jorge, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.